You know what I'm saying? I represent the truth, speak the truth. TRUTH, the reason you try harder.
Yes.
And then he says what? The world famous. And I like the back. The back is the best part.
Oh, come on with it.
You know, so
Come on. Often imitated, never duplicated. Come on. Oh, the real one.
Hey, this is the real.
The real. The real.
And I come here just after jail.
Come on.
Standing ovation, you know what I'm saying?
Come
Like,
on.
come to the
I
school.
can't even tell you how much love I got in there. If I try to tell it to you, try to explain it to you,
You have to sell it to him.
Yeah, you gotta sell it to him, baby.
man, what I'm gonna get these kids tonight, they can't pay for it.
FBOD, 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 FBOD.
All over when you talking.
Yeah. We gonna cook, baby. We gonna cook. Oh, man, he already camera ready. Real Rick Ross. Come on.
Not really a talker. I never thought that I would be a motivational speaker. If somebody would have told me, you know, a few years ago, that maybe 20, 30 years ago, that I was going to be a motivational speaker, I would have been like, yeah, right, they're going to pay me to come out and speak. I would not have believed it, but, you know, things change. And we have to change with the times. You know, a lot of times we want to stay the same, in same condition. And that's okay if you like where you at. If you like the position you in, then stay there. Don't change. But if you don't like where you at and you want to do something different, then you have to change with the times. And people ask me all the time, man, how can you stay so relevant so long? See, I've been relevant about probably longer than most of your parents are in age. I've been relevant since the 80s. I've been able to continue to be talked about, and now it's 2025, finna be 26, and it probably started in like 84. So what I have done is I have changed with the times. I haven't let myself be stagnated. Right now, I'm working on AI. I'm working on streaming, I'm working on selling directly to consumers. And basically what I do is I'm a copycat. You know, they tell us don't be a copycat. Well, my teacher told me, make sure you copying the right cat. And basically what I did when I went to prison, I was totally illiterate, could not read, could not write anything. While I was in prison, I taught myself how to read and write. I read over 300 books because I refused to come out of prison the way I went in. So I read over 300 books, and not fun books either. I don't read books to appease me, to make me feel good. You know, I read books that's going to help me, elevate me, so that I can accomplish the things that I'm trying to accomplish. Somebody just asked me a minute ago, how was I doing? And I told them, I say, overworked and underpaid. And the reason I said that is because I pay myself. So I can pay myself what I want to. And I work for myself so I can overwork me if I want to. But I also can lay in the bed if I want to. I don't have to get up until I get ready to get up. But I tell myself every morning that I have a mission that I'm trying to accomplish. And in order for me to accomplish that mission, I got to go out here and I got to work. I got to do things that a lot of people don't think that they can accomplish, things that I didn't know that I could accomplish. If somebody would have told me 5 years ago that I would have been chasing the stream game, I would have been like, what is that? Because I don't even go on YouTube. I do Instagram, even though I have my own Instagram, I only go on there once in a while just to glance at it. I have people that run my Instagram, they run my Facebook, they run my YouTube page. I'm not even that computer literate. I'm not even that smart. The only thing I really do on the telephone is text and call. And I do more calling than I do texting. I tell people, if you want to talk to me, call me, because I'm old school. But I surround myself with people that can help me with all that. Just a couple of weeks ago, I've been chasing this streamer for a while. I got into boxing about 5 years, boxing with the boxers. And whatever business I go into, I'm looking to conquer it. I don't want to just be, I want to be at the top of the food chain. I want to be one of the ones that run whatever I'm doing. I want to be one of the best. In high school, I played tennis. I wanted to be the best tennis player on the team. Then I wanted to be the best tennis player in high school. Then I wanted to be the best in the world. So I'm always trying to be the best that I can be. I don't just want to be average. One of the books that I read called From Good to Great, it talks about good is the killer of great. Because if you good, you ain't got to be great. Once you tell yourself, oh, I'm good, then you can stop right there if you want to. I want to be great. I want a legacy. And that's kind of why I did so well in the drug business, is because I wanted to be great at it. And not telling you that selling drugs is good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my mentality of how I was able to take $125 and make $3 million in one day. And for 2 years, make at least $1 million every single day. When I went to federal prison, and I'm crazy, so stay with me if you can, because I get off track a little bit. But when I'm sitting in federal prison and I was thinking about being in federal prison, they don't take anybody. Anybody just can't walk up to a federal prison, knock on the door and say, hey, I want to come in here. No, you got to earn your way in there. You got to go out and do something. So when I sit back and I thought about it, I earned my way in federal prison. I earned a life sentence, which is the highest level you can earn in federal prison. They got the death penalty too, but to earn a life sentence in federal prison mean that you was really doing something. You wasn't out here messing around. So when I was sitting and I was thinking about it, I was like, wow, man, you earned a life sentence in federal prison. Now you got to earn your way out. So I went to studying the law, and eventually I found the keys that got me out. But I was using the same drive, the same determination, the same dedication. I mean, I would wake up some mornings and I got a law book on my chest because I was studying all that night. Because I wanted to earn my way out of prison just like I earned my way in prison. So saying that is that when you work for yourself, you got to go to another level. You can't work like you would work when you're working for McDonald's or one of these other companies. I don't care if it's IBM, one of the big companies. You still got to put more into you than you put into anything else. If you don't put it into you, who will? So when I'm sitting in prison and I learned that in the drug business, all I did was copy the guys that was doing the drugs before me, that I learned from their mistakes. I studied their mistakes. I studied the things that they were doing right. And then I came up with my own formula, because when I started selling drugs, I had never seen drugs before. I'd never been involved with drugs. I never drank alcohol, never smoked a cigarette, never took a drink of beer. I would have been what we call a square. My whole dedication was toward my tennis, toward me becoming a tennis star. And I was doing the things that they told me tennis stars did. But once it was told that by me being illiterate and not being able to read, that I was not going to be able to pursue a tennis career to the next level, which would have been college. I fell back into my neighborhood, and that's how I got into the drug trade. One of my friends who I went to school with, he turned me on. So I took those lessons that I learned from the drug business and I started to apply them to my business. And like I said, before I left prison, I read over 300 books, all business books. I didn't play with the books I read. I wasn't trying to be entertained. I wanted to do something that nobody else had ever did. And I still want to do that today. And I'm working on some things that people are going to be amazed at. I've been in boxing for about 5 years. I believe in my mind that I figured out a way to take over boxing. And they got guys in boxing right now that they have money that's unlimited. They got a guy right now named Turkey. You may not know who he is, but he's the guy that put on the Canelo and the Terrence Crawford fight a couple months back, which was one of the biggest purses it was. This weekend, he has a fight with Devin Haney and Brian Norman. It's going to be ginormous. So I have to find out ways to fight with people who got big budgets. I don't have a big budget. I make a little money, but my mind is my greatest asset. I have to take my mind and let my mind figure out ways that I can undercut or how I can move into a certain space without all the resources that everybody else got. And that makes me dig harder, work faster. Well, the other day I was at a vegan restaurant in Arkansas, and this brother saw me, and he came up to me, and he was like, "Man, Rick, I ain't seen you since 2018. And I was like, yeah, because I meet so many people, I don't remember people. I'm going to be honest with you. I got over 22,000 phone numbers in my phone, which is my mastermind group, people that I can call and get information from, resources or whatnot. So me and him started talking, and he was like, what you up to? I was like, man, I got a way to take over this boxing, man. But I need I need my own streaming platform, my own platform that I can run where I don't have to ask for permission to do this, ask for permission to do that. I need my own platform. He said, man, I got you. I got a platform. So we kept talking, and you know, people be talking so much. You know, people tell you they got this and got that, and they're gonna do this. Just like I was listening to Eric Thomas saying that we'll hold other people accountable, but then we'll say we're gonna do something, and then we don't do it. So we run into so many people like that. I call them procrastinators. They'll procrastinate more than what they do. Well, anyway, me and this guy, we just kept talking and we kept talking, and so we've been talking now about 3 weeks, and the guy's a real deal. He really can do what he say he can do. He's been doing blockchains for about 20 years. Did blockchains for the Army, so we locked all the way in now. I'm like, this the guy I need. So I jumped on him like a pit bull would jump on something, grab it and hold on to it. So I've been holding on to him. He gave me a piece of his company the other day, a couple days ago. Gave me a piece of the company, made me, as he called it, the mayor. The name of the company is called Geigerville. Geyserville. And y'all know I don't have no high school diploma, so some words I use might not be correct. Later on, we'll spell it out, the name of the company. And what he does is he's teaching influencers how to stream their material straight to consumers. So for me, that was like, so we can go straight to consumers. We ain't gotta give our material to YouTube or Instagram or Facebook and then wait for them to pay us for the streams. And then my man right here Primo, he brought some stuff to me, right? He brought to me what Country Wayne is doing. So what I did is I say, okay, because remember, I'm a copycat. I told y'all that earlier, I was a copycat. So what I did is I took Country Wayne's formula and mixed it with my man's formula, and it's really going to be my own formula, but I got it from both of them. So now I'm doing skits with all kind of people, just like Country Wayne was doing this. I did a skit with Country Wayne when he first started. Me and him we did a skit about, what's the drug dealer name that he be playing?
Drip. I saw you with Drip.
Yeah, Drip. Me and Drip did a skit together where Drip want me to hook him up with the Connect. Yeah, Drip want me to hook him up with the Connect. So
He want the plug with you.
he want the plug, right? And then when I told him, I don't sell drugs no more, man, I'm into something else. Well, anyway, I'm taking both of their formulas and I'm mixing them. So it's really my own formula, but it's not necessarily my own formula. So now I'm able to take product and take it straight to consumers where they can buy their product right off of my page. I don't have to wait on YouTube to send me a check. I don't have to wait on none of them. I'm getting my check right off the grip. So what me and JD did is we said, okay, we're going to start going to people with businesses and we'll do our skit right in their business. So we'll be promoting their business at the same time as doing the skit for the streams. And now you get paid double. So all we got to do now is just build it up to where I think Country Wayne almost got 1 billion views this month. Was it 1 billion views he almost got this month? He almost got 1 billion views this month. So we got to get our numbers to where we doing stuff like that there. So it's just about being innovative and about finding ways that you can do it for yourself. That whatever line of work that you're going into, that you're going to take that to another level. And that's one of the reasons that I'm glad that I was able to come down and talk to you, because they tell me that you guys are entrepreneurs. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you're an entrepreneur, you got to know that you got to come up with ways for yourself to win in your area. One of the ways that I find that we have to do, and me and JD, we just started a documentary about the guys that was behind me. I get a lot of the credit, right? But I didn't do all that by myself. I had about 50 guys with me. And these guys kept me insulated. They were the guys that would go out on the street and they would be standing on the street corners and they would do the work. But they didn't get the credit. I got the credit because I put that mastermind group together. But having a mastermind group is so important. Having people that you can network with. Like everybody in here, all you guys should have each other's phone numbers. All y'all should be friends. Why not? If you never need them, okay, you never need the friendship. But if you ever have something that the other one have, you can always call them and you can get those resources. So I built up me a database in my telephone that is crazy. And I learned that from Kevin Hart. I was reading an article. I do a lot of, well, I used to do a lot of reading. I don't read as much as I used to, but I do a lot of studying the people who I want to be like. The people that's in the lane that I want to be in, I study them. I was in prison and one of the brothers got me to go to a Nation of Islam meeting, and Louis Farrakhan was talking, and he said to me, study them. And when I went back to my cell, I was like, now who is he talking about study? Because he didn't tell us who to study, but he said study them. So what that told me, what I figured out is that he was telling me to study the people that I wanted to be like. Study the people who were running things. So being in prison, I started buying their books. I started reading their books. I started reading articles. If I would see an article and one of those guys was talking in the article, I pick the article up and I read it. And you'll be surprised. In the articles, most of them be talking about what book they're reading. Oh, I'm reading this book right here. Master P told me about his lawyer, so I went and bought his lawyer's book and read about his lawyer. When Robert Johnson owned BET, I read his book, how he wound up with BET. You know, most people don't have a clue because they're not going to do the research. They just thinking that one day, like I used to think, you know, when I was coming up in school, right? Probably one of the reasons I didn't learn how to read. I thought one day, you know, just pray. Pray, and one day God gonna bless you. You're gonna wake up, you're gonna be smart. It don't work like that. No. If people are telling you that's how it works, they lying to you. Listen, you gotta study. You gotta dedicate yourself. You gotta go after it. You gotta read. You gotta find people that's in your field that's making it. And then follow their footsteps. Spy on them. Be nosy. That's the only way you get it. It don't just fall out the sky one day. You're just not going to wake up in the morning and whatever business you want to be in, you got all the game. Everything that you want to just come to you. I done been through like, on the streaming journey that I'm telling you, I done been through like 10 people that's supposed to do streaming. They're supposed to be website designers. And I ain't going to tell you how many website designers I done been through just because, you know, I sell my clothes over the internet. I ain't going to tell you how many of them I done been through, how much money I done lost building websites and people stealing all my information. The other thing I'm on right now is data. Anybody here know about data? None of y'all don't know about data?
When mine runs out, my phone is a piece of junk.
I ain't talking about that data. Huh? Analytics. Huh? You do analytics? You know, right now, data is one of the new currencies. Data is more valuable right now than gold. If you look at all the big companies that's running things right now, they all messing with data. What is data? Data is what Instagram collect. It's what Amazon, YouTube, all of them collect data. When you log in there, you got to give them your email address, your phone number. I don't know all the stuff you got to do because I ain't never logged into none of them. Somebody always logged me in. But I understand data because I got people now that's teaching me about data because I'm on a data hunt. I'm more concerned right now with getting data than I am with getting money. What did Zuckerberg say when he first opened up Facebook? Oh, I ain't gonna never sell your data. That's what he said, but he's selling your data now. And what do? Data tell him how old you are, where you stay, how much money you make, more than likely, what colors you like, what kind of cars you like, what kind of girls you like, what kind of guys you like, what concerts you gonna go to. So they'll take that information and then they'll start talking. I don't know if y'all be paying attention, right? I be talking on my phone. I'm talking to somebody on the phone, and then I click on my Instagram, and there it is, right there on my Instagram. Like, how did they find out? How did they find out about this here? I ain't never ordered. I've never ordered nothing off of Amazon. If I get something off of Amazon, somebody else ordered it for me. I tell, hey, get this off of Amazon for me. So I don't have an Amazon account. But they know all this information about us because they collecting this information. So what we got to do is we got to start keeping out. When you go on Instagram, they're not giving you your data. They're not telling you, you don't have a way to contact all your followers. I got 430-some thousand followers. I can't contact them. I can do a video or live or something and hopefully, a few of them will get it and respond. But we got to figure out how to keep our own data. Because those are our customers. Now, if you get their email address, you can go directly to them. You don't have to go through Amazon or Facebook or Instagram, none of those other companies. So those are some of the things that I'm working on right now myself. And I'm really a computer novice. I only been on the computer a few times. I bought a couple of laptops and I wind up giving them away because they frustrate me. But I know I have to surround myself with people that can do the things in my business that I can't do. That was one of the things I learned from reading one of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich. And Henry Ford, I don't know if you know who Henry Ford is, but Henry Ford is the guy that came up with Ford Motor Company, and he wanted a V8 motor. So he had to keep going to guys, different people, and say, hey, I need y'all to make me a V8 motor. I want the V8 motor to become a reality. So we have to find people that's going to assist us. And that's why I say it's so important for you all to be networking and communicating with each other. Because we need each other. I mean, I want to communicate with all y'all. I would like to stay in touch with everybody in here. Because I know one day you're going to have something that I'm going to need. And then I might have something that you need that you're going to pay me for. But if we don't stay in touch, we can't do it. My man say, it's all right to use me, just don't misuse me. So any of y'all can use me. I want you to use me. Please. Because I know if you use me, you're going to pay me. So saying that, I ain't going to be all night. I'm open for questions. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer questions for you. But I've done things that I didn't ever know. T-shirts, books. When I got out of prison, I was homeless for a little while. I got out of prison and my mom was losing her house. I thought I'd be living with her, but she was losing her house. So I went homeless for a little bit. But I kept an open mind. And I don't know if you know who Joe Rogan is. Well, I went on the Joe Rogan show and I was basically telling him I needed some money. I said, Joe, I'm doing bad. You say you respect me? You respect my hustle? I'm doing bad. Loan me some money. Joe Rogan told me I needed a T-shirt. So I didn't know how to do no T-shirt. But I was walking down the street and this kid came up to me and he told me that he had a T-shirt idea for me. And I kept an open mind and I went along with his idea and we did the T-shirt. The T-shirt is called, this is the only T-shirt I wear too. If you see me, people say, oh, you wear the same shirt all the time. And I said, yeah, that's the only T-shirt that pay me. I sold so many of these T-shirts, I don't even talk about the numbers because I ain't paid the IRS for them. But me keeping that open mind, that T-shirt got me out of homeless, got me my first apartment when I got home from prison. After he did the T-shirt, he gave me 100. I sold that 100 the same day. And I did like I do in the dope game. I go back and re-up. So I took the $1,000 I made from the first shirts. I went back to him and got more T-shirts. I think I got 300 after that. And then I got smart. And I said, well, you know what? Joe Rogan told you to do the T-shirt. Go back and show Joe Rogan that you did what he told you to do. I went back to Joe Rogan's show. He put the T-shirt on camera. And when I got home, my girl, she was like, man, I think my PayPal broke. I said, oh, yeah? She said, yeah, just keep ringing. Bing, 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 bing. I said, why you think, when did it start doing that? She said, I just started a few hours ago, and it ain't stopped. I said, well, look at your PayPal and see what's in there. She looked in her PayPal, we had $18,000 in there. So we was packing T-shirts like crazy. I took the money, I went and re-upped on the T-shirts, and now we putting T-shirts in plastic bags, and it's just been on from there. I ain't been broke since that day. I took the same formula with my book, and I just elevated every time. I'm trying to elevate, get better. And I work hard. You know, last night, me and my man, we flew from LA. We left LA at 10 o'clock. We left LA at 10 o'clock. We got here at 10 o'clock the next morning. So we've been sleeping in airports, sleeping on planes, to get here. We went to a prison today and spoke at a prison. Oh, 2 prisons. We spoke at 2 prisons today. And even though I didn't get paid for those, because those are not, see, sometimes we got to do marketing that you don't get paid for. You know, when you're working for yourself, you got to do things that you get paid for. And then I was explaining to him, I said, yeah, these guys, they're not going to buy my product. I said, but they're going to appreciate what we done, and they're going to get on the telephone, and they're going to call their family members and tell them what a great time they had with me and how much they admire me. So that's going to make their family members go and find out what they're talking about. So sometimes you got to do stuff even when you're not getting paid. But most important, I hope y'all keep an open mind, become critical thinkers. I'm open for any questions that anybody might have.
We have this thing where we make sure that everybody's engaged. So either pick you out. Anybody got questions? Let's shoot them, because I got a few. Go ahead.
Just a quick. So I know you said that when you were in prison, you had a life sentence, correct?
Without the possibility of parole.
And you figured out how to get out of that. But what made you change your mindset and decide once you got out to change what you were doing? Because I hear a lot of people, I know a lot of people that went to prison and they come out and, like you said, like kind of homeless, but then they go back to what they were doing because it made more money. So what changed your mindset to do it differently?
Well, I'd already quit selling drugs before I went to prison. I quit selling drugs about 1.5 years before I went to prison. But with the feds, they got up to 5 years to indict you once you commit a crime. So my mind had already been made that I was not going to sell drugs again. So when I got out of prison, that was easy. I saw myself as a hypocrite when I sold drugs. I mean, when I first started selling drugs, no, it wasn't. I was like, yay, I'm partying, have fun, you know, like everybody else, all entertainers was doing it. So I wanted to be a part of that same scene. But later on, I learned what addiction was. And then once I learned what addiction was, I started to question myself. You know, why are you doing this? You know, you're benefiting off of somebody else's weakness. And I'm not somebody who wants to be a bully. You know, I want to fight the champ. You know, I don't want to fight no weakling. You know, the weakling, I'm going to try to help them. Man, come on, get strong. Let's go together. That's why I went to the prison today, because I know they're in a bad position. I've been there. They don't have nobody. They don't get no letters. Nobody talk to them. Nobody give them no information. So when they come out, they're going to be worse off than they was when they came. So that's the reason that I could never sell drugs again.
If you don't sell drugs no more, can I get the plug? No, I'm just kidding.
You got him already. Are you talking to the plug?
What's the best book that you recommend? Besides yours, obviously.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Richest Man in Babylon, As a Woman Think or As a Man Think by James Allen. You read those 3 books, you practice those principles, and you know what?
I can vouch for that.
You know what? Most people who read the book, they read it one time. See, I knew I was dumb, right? I knew I didn't do good in school, so I read the book 25 times. I want to make sure I get them principles right. Thank you.
I may read a comic book 25 times. That's too much reading. But back in the back, young student.
Like, I was reading books. That's one thing I've been studying. I've been trying to read more and more books, but like I'm not really understanding what what the words say. How do you understand what the words are saying? You know,
It's tough.
Well, you know, comprehension comes with reading. You know, when I first started reading, I didn't know how to put my words together. You know, I would read something. I learned how to say the words, and then I didn't know how to put the words together. But as I practice, the more you read, the better you get. And one of the techniques I found on reading was read 15 minutes when you get up in the morning. When I got up in the morning, because some mornings, you know, when I was in jail in some places that was cold like it is here, and it would take some motivation to get up and go out there and get up on that pull-up bar. That bar be cold, right? I'm talking about be ice on the bar sometime. But I made my mind up that I was going to work out 5 days a week. And I wasn't going to stop from working out because it was cold. So I would get up and I would read the books because the book would be motivating. The book going to tell, it might be hard. It might be tough. But still, you got to do what you say you're going to do. So Just read like 15 minutes a day. When you get up in the morning, read for 15 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. When you go to bed at night, and I guarantee your comprehension level is going to start to increase. When I left prison, because I was in the GED class, and they would do the test on me, and my comprehension level had gotten to be where I was reading on a college level.
So it's repetition, and also use technology to your advantage. Because the book you read, you can get notes and side notes about the book, and treat it like a class, right? Take notes on it and things that you want, and it'll help you get better. Mark it up like you mark up the Bible. You mark up and for the points that you find inside the book.
Yeah, I marked all my books. I would mark them. I had people who had my books, and they would come to me since I've been out. They would get some of my books because I let people read them, and they'd be like, "Man, I found this book. You got it all marked up. Autograph it for me." So, marking your books is very important.
I'm gonna add to that.
Yo.
Can I add to that too?
Yeah.
To help you with that, it's 2 things to remember: subject and predicate. The subject is the main point. The predicate is everything that's feeding into the main point, right? So whatever you're reading, find the subject. Everything else that's adding to it, you can sift through that, right? And that's going to help you with your conversation too.
That's right. That's good advice.
I had to watch a documentary on you a while back, and there's a scene where you mentioned that the day you got sentenced was the worst of your life, as far as like feeling. And most people in that position usually would give up and not want to achieve more outside of that. So in your case, what made you have that? What made you maintain that drive to still do better despite the circumstances?
Well, that day that you're talking about, that was the day my mom broke down in court, and she screamed louder than I ever heard her scream before. And it was almost like she felt like her son was dead. That's the kind of scream she yelled out in the courtroom. So that hurt me bad. I mean, when I went in the lockup, I was trying to hold the tears back, not crying because I was getting a life sentence, but crying because of the way I just hurt my mama. I never hurt my mama like that before. I always I want to be the one, I cater to my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, she got to go somewhere, I'm going to come take her. She need a car, I'm going to go get the car for it. Whatever she need, I wanted to be the one that did that. I wanted to be her favorite son. So to hurt her like that was one of the worst things that I felt I'd ever did to my mom, was getting that life sentence. So that's why that was my worst day, probably in life. What made me go on is because I couldn't see my mama's son stand in prison for the rest of his life and not being able to go to her rescue if she ever needed me, or even my kids. Because when I went to prison, I had 7 kids. So I didn't want to, which they did grow up without their dad. When I came home, my kids had kids that was their age when I went to prison. But those are the things that motivated me. And I didn't want the prosecution to win. I just I can't let y'all beat me, And then I found out we was in court one day, right? And I started writing my book. Because my book is kind of like a message to the streets. Hey, this is what the dope game is really all about, and this is where you're gonna end up, and this is why I went wrong, and just kind of like laying all of my stuff out in the book. So the prosecutor of my case, one of the police in the jail, told him, "Hey, Rick is over there writing a book," because they get to go through all your paperwork and everything. So the prosecutor take copies of my book, and he's in courtroom, and he's telling the judge, "Hey, Your Honor, he's finna write a book and make all this money off the book. We got to stop him. We can't let him write this book." So those are the kind of things that motivated me to do good. I said, "Oh, this guy don't want to see me do good. He mad because I'm doing good. Not that I ain't selling drugs no more, because I ain't selling drugs no more," which I wasn't selling drugs when he arrested me. My whole case was kind of like an entrapment case, because I wasn't selling drugs no more. They sicked my drug supplier on me, and they entrapped me into doing this deal that I did, the last deal that I did. Now, I done sold drugs before, but this deal was not a deal. I wasn't selling drugs at the time. So all those things motivated me to it's like a basketball game. You playing basketball, and then this dude is trying to stop you from scoring, and man, I'm gonna score on you, man. and then I ain't gonna let you score when you get ready to come back. So it's just a game to me. I mean, I don't even care about the money, right? When I sold drugs, I didn't spend that money. Somebody else spent it for me. My mom, my girlfriends, my brothers, my sisters, my aunties, my cousins, they spent more money than I did. Because I don't need nothing. You know, I can walk on. This is the way y'all caught me. I would have dressed a little better, but I got off the plane and they ain't let me go in my suitcase and put on my costume. Because if I'd have came in here and I would have had on a brand new sweatsuit, that'd have been a costume. Because this is how I dress every day. When I walk around LA, this is me because I'm comfortable. I feel good. I ain't trying to impress none of y'all. I don't need to impress none of y'all. I'm good. I make my little money, you know. I make more money than most people, and I'm comfortable with that. What drives me is that I want to be great. I don't want my legacy to be that I sold drugs. You know, I want my legacy. And I just discovered, I'm going to say this, and it may sound a little conceited, I probably was the first person to ever go viral on the internet. Time magazine said that my story in '96, when San Jose Mercury News published the article, it was the first time that a major newspaper had ever put a story on the internet, and it was the first time blacks ever went to the internet in droves. We drive the internet. The guy that I'm telling you about that does the stream, he said, black people drive the internet. So we're the force behind these machines, but we're not benefiting from them the way we're supposed to.
Go ahead.
Okay, and what's your honest opinion about the justice system sending people to prison after they were?
Say that again.
And you said you repented a year and a half before you got sentenced. What's your honest opinion about the justice system sending people to prison, like life in prison? You were already repented.
I think that our whole system needs to be overhauled. I don't think that it's rehabilitation. It's more of warehousing and punishment than getting people prepared for coming to the streets. They didn't prepare me for coming to the streets. I prepared myself. You know, I bought the books that I read. I also shared my books with other people. So I think that our system definitely needs to be overhauled. I mean, some people need to be in prison. You know, you going around here, you molesting kids, you raping women, you sticking guns in people's face. I think that those are crimes against people. Drugs, maybe not so. And I might be saying that because, you know, I was a drug dealer and I might be a little biased. But, you know, drugs is considered a victimless crime. And what that means, I read all these law books and all these terms. You know, I was trying to have every ammunition I could when I went in the courtroom. So what they mean by a victimless crime is that there's nobody going to come in the courtroom and say, hey, he hit me over the head and took my wallet. In a drug deal, the only way that a drug user is going to come in court is if they got in trouble and the prosecutors forced them to come in. Other than that, they're not going to come and say, hey, he sold me some great drugs, I got a great deal, and I loved it. You know, so they consider those as victimless crimes, even though it's not so victimless when you really go all the way down to the end, because if a mom is using drugs and she's taking the money that she's supposed to be feeding her kids with and she's using drugs, then it's not so victimless because those kids are suffering. Those kids are suffering from her activity. So it's tricky, but it's definitely something that we as a group supposed to be trying to figure out. How do we solve these problems? You know, not just me to solve them. You know, I can give you my experience. We can talk about it, and then we sit down and figure out our remedies, and not let these people who sit up in Washington who never smoked marijuana. They puffed it, but they didn't inhale it. Make our decisions.
I have a two-part question that you're saying, like clickbait or anything like that. Just be genuinely asking. But question number one is the show Snowfall, was that truly loosely based off your life?
Absolutely. Me and when I came home from prison, you know, I like I said, I already had my manuscript for the book, and I had a idea about a movie, and I thought that John Singleton would be the perfect person to direct my movie. And I went and got with him, and we had been, talking and having lunch. Matter of fact, I don't know if y'all seen Crack in the System. Anybody see Crack in the System? Okay, well, me and John went to the premiere of Crack in the System together. And when it premiered, I got my first 10 books, my demo books, and I wasn't going to sell those books because they was kind of like, this is my first book, man. I went from being totally illiterate to now I'm an author. I'm a published author. So I was going to kind of like say those books as like souvenirs. And then John was like, man, I need one of those books. And he gave me $100 for it. So, I took it. So yeah, it's definitely loosely based. I mean, who else in the country that that they legitimately say was working with the CIA? Me, that's who. So yeah, absolutely, it was loosely based off of me. I had lunch with the star of the show before, and he said he was going to go and talk to John and the producers about them bringing me on because he thought it would be good if I worked on the set. But yeah, it was loosely based off of me.
Last question is, what are your thoughts on Rick Ross? Using your name and stuff like that.
Wow.
I promise, just
For sound bites.
Me and him done been through it so much, with our different back and forths but I ain't got nothing against the guy. I'm cool. I don't wish him no bad. But I think he's kind of corny, I felt that him having so much respect for me that he wanted to even name himself after me, that's like, you got to have a lot of respect to name yourself after somebody, you know what I'm saying? So for him to do that and then not to come knowing, because I done heard him on the radio say, oh yeah, dude down on his luck. So to have that kind of respect for me and then to know I was down on my luck and knowing that my name definitely gave him a boost and him not to give me a hand, I thought it was kind of chicken shit.
Appreciate it.
Lemon pepper. Okay.
Anybody else?
We got plenty.
Rick, I know they always talk about the bad and downside, but I know you talk about the first part, like to meet you.
Likewise. Thank you for coming out to see me.
Yes, sir. So what's one of the best memories you got?
I didn't hear you.
What's one of the best memories that you got?
Oh man, I got so many memories, great memories. I get great memories. I mean, I just left from a maximum security penitentiary and 200 dudes swarmed me when I finished speaking, man, and told me how much they appreciate me coming out talking to them, and how much they learned from my speech, So my memories are just, I don't know. I got so many good memories, man. I got 2 beautiful babies right now. I had when I came home. Last night I took my son, we worked out on the tennis court, and to see him developing and coming is like, unbelievable. But then just to see y'all, I mean, this is to be sitting here. I predicted this when I was in prison with a life sentence too. It's an article. Oh, y'all got to read this article here. It's an article in LA Magazine. Pick up the article. I still have my life sentence. This guy, Jesse Catt, wrote the article, and I told him that I'd be going to college speaking to kids. And in the article, he said I was delusional. And I also told him I'd be helping politicians. I'd be telling politicians what to do. Right now, the mayor of Detroit, she followed me around Detroit, going to the schools with me when she was campaigning to be a congresswoman. And she just won the mayor of Detroit right now. Like I just found out like a week ago that she's now the mayor of Detroit, Mary Schofield. And I helped her become a congresswoman because I took her to the high school. I said, if you go to these high school kids and if they support you, their mama's going to support you, their daddy's going to support you. So she went to about 4 or 5, we did about 4 or 5 high schools, and then she wound up winning congressman, and now she's a mayor. So just to see that, I can predict my future. Like I look at life like this here, right? When I was writing that book, when I was in prison, I talked about some of my friends in there, and not all of them in a positive light. They wasn't in a positive light. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling the truth. So what I told them, I say, look, I'm writing another book right now. And you can dictate how you want to be seen in this new book. So it's like, right now, we have the right to write our future. You can write your future for tomorrow. You can write what you want to be tomorrow. And if you write that, then you can start living like that today. Today, you start living that you want to be tomorrow. And the way that you want to be seen in 5 years. So when you look back at your life, you can be that person that you want to be, not the person that you was today. See, today you could be somebody who you don't really like. You might not really care for that person. Right? You might not really care where that person is standing at in life, financially, spiritually, with your husband or whatever. But if you start to become that person that you want to be today, then you're writing your future. And that's what I did in that article. Even though I had a life sentence without the possibility, I knew that I could write my future. And that's what I did. And he recorded it and did the whole 9 yards. And you read the article, he's saying that I'm crazy. That I was being unrealistic. Well, how could I put on a boxing match? How could I write a book? How could I do a movie? Cracking the System, I did over 65% of that documentary, even though I didn't get any credit for it. Because I didn't do it for credit. Remember I told you, I don't work for money. Money is just my reward for doing a great job. So I'm more concerned with doing a great job. Cracking the System got nominated for an Emmy. Here I am, no high school diploma, never did a movie before, don't know about cameras, and here I am, the documentary that I know, the world don't know, but I know that I produced 95% of it. I know guys spoke in that documentary wouldn't have spoke had I not went to him and said, hey, I need you to speak. He interviewed a guy last night. What did he tell you? Why did he tell you he talked to you? Because of me. See, I'm able to get the guys to do things that they won't do for nobody else because they trust me. And you know that if I tell him that this is the way it's going to be, that's how it's going to be. So you today can start writing your future. You could be the next whoever. Obama showed us you could be the president. Even with the women, Kamala Harris almost made it. She probably made a few mistakes. If she'd have did a few more right things, she probably could have been president. So the doors is wide open. There's not really a ceiling anymore. The internet really just leveled the playing field. But if you don't take advantage of it, then you're going to be left behind. You know, they keep talking about AI. And if you don't learn about AI, you're going to be behind.
AI need a job. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so write your future. Write your future. Let me get Big Man. He ain't said nothing yet. Huh? What's up, big fella?
I want you to elaborate on a story about you working with Anita Baker and how that came about. Like, what does that look like?
You want to know that story, huh? I can go into it. I played tennis in high school, and I was the poorest kid at school. I was a kid that had tennis balls taped around the top of my shoe because I had drugged my toe out. In tennis, you drag your toe. So I dragged my toe out. So my tennis coach, who was a pretty good coach, he started to hook me up with rich people who had kids that they were billing pros, that they were trying to become tennis pros too. So he hooked me up with this one guy named Otis Smith. And I didn't know what Otis did for a living. I just knew he drove a Rolls Royce convertible in 74 and had a lot of money. You know, I got to eat all the hamburgers and french fries I want whenever I was with him. So I'm working with him and his son about 2 years, and then boom, I went off and got into the dope game. I don't see nobody in the tennis game. So one day I'm sitting down and I want to go and just take a break from the dope game. You know, I've been killing it. I done murdered the dope game. I got everybody in LA that's sold up. So I go to a tennis match, and then I look, and there's little Otis, one of the kids that I used to help. And he's playing for UCLA. He playing number 1 for UCLA. They playing Stanford. And an argument break out. So Otis is on the all-white team, Stanford all-white team. So little Otis is really by himself. But little Otis is like my little brother. You know, his dad used to take care of me, used to feed me. You ain't finna do nothing to little Otis with me around. So anyway, I see a fight about to break out, and I'm like, get on the phone, I call my guys, and right when the match is over, Big Otis had came, and the guy that was arguing, he hit Big Otis in the eye. Young guy, big as you, he was about big as you. Young guy, 19, 20 years old. Otis older than me, so by that time my guys had came, so my guys beat up the whole Stanford team. So I go down, I break the fight up, chase everybody off. Then the tennis coach came and he tells Otis, well, Otis is asking him about getting into the music business, you know, holding his eye because his eye all messed up, but he's still talking about his business. So the tennis coach say, you better ask Rick about some money. Rick got all the money in the world. And by the way, he probably wanted to save your ass today. So Otis came over, talked to him, and he was like, man, you did this? And I was like, yeah, man, I ain't gonna let nobody do nothing to you when I'm around. So he's like, man, I owe you dinner. So I hear him talking to the coach about music business. We go to dinner. So he started talking to me about this girl. He said, man, I got a girl sing like a mockingbird. I need some money though for her. Well, the guy done fed me, took care of me when I was a kid, bought me tennis shoes, bought me tennis rackets. What you need? So he needed $600,000. I gave him the money. He flew Anita Baker out. I met her a couple times. But I didn't really want to be in the music business because I'm still heavy in the streets, you know, like crazy in the streets, like all day, all night. I'm selling dope all over the country. So I gave him the money, and that was Anita Baker.
Right here. I mean, it's him being you. Yeah. Go ahead. This you. Go ahead. Okay, go young man. Go ahead.
What are your opinions on hemp and cannabis right now, and what is your advice for the future of hemp and cannabis?
I don't really know about hemp, but the weed business, I love it. You know, I had a dispensary. Right now, I'm cutting deals with about 5 major weed brands across the country: Oklahoma, New Mexico, New York. I think on the 12th we launch in New York. Is it the 12th we launch in New York?
Yeah, December 12th.
December 12th, I go to New York. They're gonna launch, and with these companies, I ain't doing nothing but just lending my name, like you know, like Magic them be doing, how they lend their name to a company and then they just get a check. so they these are like easy deals for me. But you know, weed has been good to me. It's been good to me. I had a dispensary. My dispensary didn't work out. I was building a grow too. I was building a grow. Some people broke in and stole all my corporate wire out of it. But hemp is a little scary because it's so much of it, you know, and the price is so cheap. Even though the weed is going down as well. I wouldn't invest in no weed company.
They're the same thing.
No, they're a little different.
They're the same.
Huh?
They're the same.
Well, one of them can come back 30.
I see what you said. They're different. They different. The legalities of them, but they're the same.
Yeah, because one of them can come back. You know, I know people that grow weed is coming back 42% THC, and I think hemp can only be like 3% THC.
Sort of, but you know, they crossing over into both of the markets. They selling hemp in dispensaries, and
well, they cheating. I know what you're talking about.
Kind of, but it's kind of legal. It's another loophole, gray area.
It's a loophole, but it ain't legal. If they find out they putting weed in hemp bags, because I know what they're doing. I know the companies that's doing it. You know, I talk to them. You know, the biggest companies in LA, I talk to them and do business with them, and they cheating. They putting marijuana in hemp bags, but if they get caught, it's illegal still.
Mario?
Mario, I know you probably don't remember me, but I've been to your crib before. You know Tyrone Richardson out in California?
That's my guy.
Yeah, so he brought me to your crib one time back in 2018.
Did he?
Just that we chopped it up in that little shop next to your house.
Oh yeah, that's my auto shop.
And so, and we talked for an hour, but I was inspired because you was like talking about all your dreams and stuff coming up. You know, like I'm gonna have a big 2019. So I commend you because you still got it popping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm finna pop this internet. Watch what I'm doing with these skits.
And
I'm gonna start doing the Country Wayne. I'm doing the Country Wayne skits now. Me and Primo got me doing the Country Wayne skits, and I'm gonna do, cause I feel I'm bigger than where he was when he started. You know, he started out as a nobody. Nobody really knew him. But I don't have to start out as a nobody. I'm already known. Plus, I know all the stars. I was just with David Chappelle Monday, and great show. He did a great show. That guy's so damn smart.
I had a question. So before John Singleton passed, did y'all reconcile, or did his estate try to ever make good?
No.
Oh.
They never gave me no money off of Snowfall.
Okay.
Now that they had to, I don't care. I'm finna be so rich. I'm finna be so rich because I keep putting my money back in. You know, like the dope game, right? Now, I'm gonna tell y'all this quick story. I had two friends that when I started selling dope, right? They already had like 20,000 when I started. One sold PCP and one sold weed. And they was already doing real good for themselves. So when I started selling cocaine, I noticed that my money came faster than their money was coming. So I go to both of them and I bring them in to the cocaine business where they only had to invest a couple $1,000. I think like $2,500 or something. For them was not a whole lot of money. So these guys could have been my boss, right? Because they could have bought me. They could have bought me at that time. They'd have put their money together. They had $50,000. We'd have went and bought cocaine. I'd have been glad to work for them and get my little cut out of that. But they didn't do that. So when I bring them into the coke business, they start making good money. They both go buy brand new cars almost at the same time. One bought a Cadillac, a brand new Fleetwood Brougham Cadillac. The other one bought one of those custom vans with all the stuff. Because now they're making this money that they was getting from the coke was newfound money to them, right? Like, oh, that's money I wouldn't have made. I'm still making my money from my other business. But what it did, when they was making that money, I was making the money at the same time. And instead of me going to buy a van, I went and bought a pound of cocaine. Me making that move turned them into my workers. Them guys bought me houses. They bought my girlfriend's cars. They bought them Rolex watches. They bought them mink coats. I mean, they bought tickets to the fights. I mean, they just did everything because I made so much money off of them by them not reinvesting their money in the beginning, if that makes sense. Like I hit 100,000 and they were still playing around with $5,000 and $10,000 when they should have been having 100,000 or 200,000. You know, they should have been above me.
Next thing, like your person's always trying to find the next biggest thing. Like you got a lot of drive. Like how do you stay? How do you not get stagnant?
I get bored and wanting to do something. You know, I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to watch no boring movies. All the movies that you see at the theater, they already did them before. They just flip it a different way and show you the same movies. You know, Batman, the Terminator. You know, I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm bored. So what I do is I go out and I know what my community needs. See, I don't think my community is bad. I just think they need opportunity. They need a way to see themselves out of the position that they're in. And in order to do that, they're going to need some money. So I'm going to go get the money for them. That's what I did in the cocaine business. I just went and got the money, brought it back to the hood. You know, I would go get the cocaine because they wouldn't sell them cocaine. So once I figured out how to get the cocaine, I would go get it and I'd come back to the hood and I'd break it down. Here, you take some, you take some, you take some. And then they all go, and they could get more money for it than I could. You know, because I couldn't be in 50 places at one time. So that motivated me now to go out and get the money and bring it back to the hood. When I get rich, you're going to be able to call me, hey, Rick, I got this idea, and I'm just gonna say, oh, we'll show it to my team, and my team approve it, we gonna do it. That's how I'm gonna do. You know, I'm gonna have different little things. Like right now, we looking for people to come and do skits with us. We're gonna pay them to do skits with us. You come with a good skit idea, we're gonna do it. Boom, you get paid for it. We're gonna break bread.
You got to get to know Slick Nigga Mac. We get to know him, then you're gonna know what time it is.
Where he at? I need him. We need him right now.
All these people in the skits that we do here. Yeah, same format. We'll talk about it afterwards.
All right, I need them skits.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Questions back there. Sir, I got you. Yeah.
You agree with the saying that men learn from pain?
Men learn from pain. I ain't never heard that one, but we don't have to. You know, it's crazy. You know, I read so many books when I was in jail, right? That almost every scenario that you come up with, you know, I done had a scenario for it. But my man say it's several ways that you can learn. You can learn on your own, hitting your head up against the wall, or you can learn from other people's experience. What I found out the best way to learn is from other people's experience. Find people that experience that same thing, and then you don't have to go through that. And one of the easiest ways to find out their experience is by picking up their book, reading their book. Because you may not be able to call that person on the phone. You know, they might be too big. They might not answer their phone. You know, most of them don't answer their phone. Most successful people, once they get so successful, they stop answering their telephone. I'm one of the few that if you get my phone number, I'm gonna pick up. Or if I don't pick up because I'm in a meeting, I'm gonna call you right back. He said, "What you want?"
I want to get some students. Any students got any questions? I want to get some students. We'll go back to other people too. Okay.
What was your daily process in writing your book? What is the daily process in, say, if you have like a manuscript or you want to make a documentary or a skit, what is your process like to make? I specifically want to know about like the book, what I know you've touched, like you used to do it every morning.
I can hardly hear you.
You said, what's your daily process of writing your books, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Writing my book?
Yeah. When you come up with your books, how you come about that?
Well, when I wrote my book, I was in prison. And so I would just write 2 or 3 hours every day. It took me about 6 months. With these skits that we're doing right now, you know,
about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I wake up one morning, like we just did one a couple days about the what we call it, the rent-a-cop?
Yeah, peanut, rent-a-cop peanut.
Rent-a-cop peanut, you know, and I say one of my guys, and then what I'm doing right now with my skits, I'm gonna tell you what we're doing, how we gonna kill the game, right? So we're going to people businesses, right? And we do the skit inside their business. So not only do we get the streaming benefit, but now when you do it in their business, you get to tag them in it, so they're going to post it on their page, and then they want to sponsor you. Like we got people now, because we did in their business, they want to sponsor us to come and do more stuff at their businesses. So we getting both benefits. We're gonna get money from the business, and then we're gonna get the streaming money as well. So we're going straight to the consumers.
That's the best way. That's the only way to beat the system. Any more for students? I got a couple questions I'm asking. Okay. You said you had one more?
Yeah, if you don't mind. So based off of hearing your story and learning about you, it sounds like you've always been somebody who has like a really healthy, sense of self-worth, esteem, self-esteem, respect. Do you attribute a lot of that to your mother and the way you were raised, or do you feel like it was like always like an innate thing for you just your whole life?
I don't know, I guess my mom had something to do with it. I believe playing tennis had a lot to do with it as well, because a lot of my strategies that I use come from tennis. My business strategies, like in tennis, if you're not hitting a good backhand, then you just keep doing it over and over again, and you work on fixing it. So that's kind of how I look at life. But yeah, I just love myself. And I know that if I don't love myself, I can't love nothing else. Once you don't like yourself, then you don't like nothing. So, and also books that I read while I was in prison, one book was saying, I'm gonna try to get this right, but he said, the world is perfect, that I'm the only thing that's out of line.
A couple questions. So you got your skits and stuff. Have you ever thought about creating your own network? Because I can tell you a system I have, I think that will work, but have you thought about, because you're looking at things you're doing direct to consumers, how can you make that in a way where Zuckerberg and them came with Facebook, Instagram, Rossgram, something? What can we do, and why haven't we came up with our own thing?
We got one.
Where is it?
It's called Geigerville.
Geigerville?
Yeah, Geigerville it's a black guy out of Detroit. I got to speak to him the other day. Me and Jay got to speak to him the other day for the first time. He is getting ready to revolutionize YouTube. He finna take YouTube to another level where, say from like, I'm gonna try it. Cause I'm just learning this too. They teaching me this game right now. I'm learning. I've been in it about a week and a half, so I'm still new. But you know how when you go to CBS, and when you're in Kansas City, you see one CBS, and then you go to LA, you see a different CBS. Then when you go to New York, it's a different CBS, and then in every city got a different CBS. So he's going to take YouTube, and now when you go on YouTube, you're going to be going to YouTube in Kansas City.
Regional. Yeah, making it regional.
Regional.
Oh, regional. That's a good idea.
So now when you for advertisers, now the advertiser ain't got to say, okay, I'm going to pay for a YouTube all over the country. And he pays for that, but his brand ain't in all over the country. He's not a nationwide brand. He's just a local brand. So now we're going to be able to say, okay, you just local, give us $50 for an ad. We're going to put your ad on there. Give us $25 for an ad. So this is going to allow businesses to place ads where otherwise they couldn't afford it because it was $2,500 or $1,000. And it's also going to allow the content creators to get paid immediately because now they're getting paid directly from the advertisers. Like on this site, instead of getting a stream, you'll be getting 70% of whatever the ad revenue is. So
we need to know about that. I mean, so we have to.
It's Geigerville. I got you.
But we'll talk afterwards.
I got you.
We're going to get busy on that. Anybody else with some more questions?
I got one.
Go ahead.
Say I'm an upcoming entrepreneur. What are the 5 steps you giving me to generate wealth, or what are some motivation you gonna give me to generate the capital? Thank you.
Well, the first thing I would recommend any entrepreneur that's going into business is read those first 3 books that I mentioned. That'd be number 1. Me, myself, the next thing I would do is get my credit together. You could go, you get your credit together, you can go to the bank, I hit the banks up for close to $300,000 straight out of prison. But I built my credit up. When I was in prison, I studied credit too. While I was in prison, I studied credit, so I know how to build credit. I know how to take stuff off the credit, even though I don't do credit for people, but I did it for myself, and then I do it for close friends, people that I'm working with. But you can build your credit up, and you can go to the bank. Navy Federal, I think, gave me like $80,000. Another bank gave me $70,000. So you can go to these different banks and get your working capital, and it don't take much. I mean, you can really fix your credit in 3 or 4 months. You can have your credit up to a position to where you can borrow a couple $100,000 for real. Because they really go with the numbers. They don't really go with who you are, how you look, what neighborhood you stay in. If your numbers is right, you get up to that like 750, 770. You can almost get anything you want. And where I went wrong is I built my credit up, I built my corporation credit up, but I got in a jam. I took on a project that was really too big for me. In the cannabis industry, these guys come from Wall Street and they call me in, like these other guys are doing right now. They want to use my name on the brand, and I just started hanging out with them and paying attention. I saw they didn't know what they was doing. I was like, nah, y'all, I ain't putting my name on that. But what I did is I stayed in touch with them, and they spent about $45 million on buildings to build marijuana grows. And they got stuck, and then the smallest one, they wanted to sell it. And they paid like $5 million for the building. They told me to give them $4.5 million for it. They had all the plans, all the licenses, everything was there. And I didn't have the money to do it, but the building was gonna make $3 million a month. I could have made $3 million a month with the building. It was gonna cost about $5 million to build it out. At that time, I was making maybe $75,000 a week profit from my business, in the weed business. So I was calculating, okay, I do one room at a time. I take $150,000, $200,000, build one room at a time and just build it. So I took on the project. I gave them the down payment, and some dudes broke into the building and stole all my carpet wire out and just threw my whole life in a spin. Because I was just using my corporate credit. I was keeping my personal credit safe. And when that happened, I started spending my personal credit trying to catch it up, trying to get back. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna lose this money, So they threw me in a jam and messed my credit up. My credit messed up right now, which I ain't tripping no way. I don't need no credit no way. These guys just gave me this new game, this new streaming game. So I would say, get your credit right, read them books, build your mastermind group. Get you a group of people that just gonna help you. And you said 5, huh? Pick the right business. Pick one. And sometimes, in business, you got to do not necessarily what you want to do, but you got to get you a business that's going to give you a cash flow to sustain you. Like, I still make enough money in the weed business that I can run around the country. That it's going to pay my bills, whether I'm in Kansas City, I can be in Arkansas or Texas. It don't matter where I'm at. I still get a little money coming in that it's tight, but I can get to do what I want to do. So I said that's the next thing. Find you a business that's going to give you a little cash flow so that you can sustain yourself and take care of your basic needs, while you pursuing your goal. And then I guess the last one would be keep an open mind. Always listen. What I found out, listening is an art. I read a book about listening as well when I was in prison, and it talks about people who listen to answer. They don't listen to understand, they listen to answer your question, or to debate you. Well, I listen to understand what you're trying to tell me that I need to be doing. So I would say if you do those 5 things, you should be in good shape.
Yeah, that's some good game.
Right. And then, man, we gonna hook up. You got them cameras. I need you.
Make sure you get all that stuff too. All the stuff can be sent to you.
Okay.
Because of his style of how he shoots. One more question. Go ahead.
No, but when I was in jail, I spoke a little bit. Poquito español.
Okay. Everybody, just clap it up for Mr. Rick Ross.
And if y'all would, please follow me on social media at Freeway Rick on Instagram and Freeway Rick Ross on Facebook, and then Geyser is the name of the company that I'm telling you about right now. You can go online and check them out. It's going to be major, and especially if you're a content creator or you want to be an actor or any of those things, this site is going to be very valuable to you. It's going to teach you how to make money in ways that a lot of people are not even thinking about right now.